Every year, fruit trees are killed by an invisible killer called fire blight. Today, my purpose is to inform you about fire blight and its effects. My credibility in this information is my father. He has farmed for 30 years. I've been under his wing and seen the effects of fire blight and how it needs to be treated effectively, as well as the effects it does in the field, the damages, and the severity of the bacterium. Reasons to listen: it's very important to know what happens when fire blight appears, how to treat it, and the effects that it actually does to the plants. I'll begin by discussing where blight appears from, how it starts, and then conclude with treatment. Now that the stage is set, let's see the conditions for fire blight. Fire blight has specific conditions for growing. The first condition is weather. Bacterium like 4 to 32 degrees Celsius. They're carried by wind, rain, and insects. The second condition is timing. The bacteria enter the host through the most effective way is through the buds or the stems of the leaves. It's the most susceptible way. They move very rapidly on the stigma of the plants. Younger trees are more likely to get affected because of the softer wood. We've seen where the blight has come from. Let's look at the effects of blight. Fire blight has specific characteristics to look for. The first sign to look for is the discoloration of the leaves. The bark will look discolored as well. It will turn to black color. If looking at a tree, try to notice the shriveling of the leaves and the black stems. The second sign to look for is the shriveling of fruit. The fruit may die, the whole tree may die, depending on the severity of fire blight. The fruit can be affected without the tree dying itself. You'll see discoloration or dark spots. Now that we have to deal with this epidemic, let's look at ways to treat it. Fire blight is very difficult to contain. The most effective way to contain fire blight is through spraying. You must spray every 3 to 5 days, depending on the severity of it. The second method is manual removal, where we will send workers out to cut fire blight out, and they will haul it out of the fields manually and then burn it to effectively kill all the bacterium. Now that we have learned about fire blight, let's go over a quick recap of what we've done. First, we learned that fire blight has specific conditions for growing. We learned that it needs a condition of 4 to 32 degrees Celsius with wet conditions. We also said the bacteria are carried by wind, rain, and insects. Second, we learned that fire blight has specific characteristics to look for. We said that there are a multitude of ways for fire blight to enter the host. The most effective way is through buds or stems of the leaves. Younger trees are more susceptible to fire blight because of softer wood. Finally, we learned that fire blight is effectively treated by spraying or manually removing it out of the field and burning it. You must spray from 3 to 5 days, depending on severity of the fire blight. With all this information, you now know how to treat fire blight and what to look for when you're in your fields or out in your backyard looking at your pear or apple trees, because we all love good pear and apple trees and delicious fruit. So harvest in plenty, and thank you.